Yeah, the big breaking news is what we were expecting today, but we weren't sure what time it would come through. An awful lot of interest in this, but we knew the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Kipco Stakes was going to be fairly controversial as far as whip bans were concerned, with both Jim Crowley and Rob Hornby fighting out that really tight finish. Well, we've got our final answer on this, because Jim Crowley, who was on Hukum in the blue and white of Shadwell, was found to have used his whip 3 times above the permitted level of 6 from approximately 2 furlongs out. They took into account it was a Class 1 race, so the penalty in respect of the above permitted level was doubled. Therefore, Crowley will be suspended for 20 days. So that is from the Tuesday the 15th to Monday the 21st of August, and Wednesday the 23rd of August to Monday the 4th of September. Additionally, taking into account the class and value of the race, he was fined £10,000. The rider of the runner-up, Rob Hornby, Westover, who was second, was found to have used his whip just once above the permitted level of 6 from 2 furlongs out. Now, this is something that was brought in yesterday, allowing for the fact that Hornby has had more than 200 rides in Great Britain since a previous whip offence. Mitigation on penalty was applied, but taking into account that it was a Class 1 race, the penalty in respect of the above permitted level was then doubled. Therefore, he gets a 4-day suspension, the 15th to the 18th of August inclusive. Now, given the interest around this, the BHA have issued this quote. They've said the use of the whip in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes was not reflective of the riding we have generally seen in major races since the introduction of the new rules. For example, the Cheltenham Aintree and Epsom and Royal Ascot meetings have all taken place this year without a single rider using the whip above the permitted level on a winning ride. Specific thresholds for whip use is now standard policy amongst most major racing nations, including all of our nearest neighbours. On Saturday, the whip was used 3 times above the permitted level on the winner, for which there is very little justification. It is to deter whip use like this that strict penalties are in place, especially in major races. They're designed not only to safeguard the perception of the sport, but also maintain fairness in close finishes, encouraging riders to stay within the rules in the interest of the betting public and fellow riders. And it says that there have been over 23,500 flat races since the introduction of the new rules. In this period, there have been only 2 occasions on which the whip has been used 3 times above the permitted level. It's worth pointing out that the new measures that were brought in at the beginning of the year introduced disqualification as a penalty for use of the whip 4 times or more above the permitted level. One more strike and Jim Crowley would have been out on Hukum in the King George. So that is the big news. 20-day suspension and a £10,000 fine. There would be some that would say, Seb, that he's won a race worth £1.25 million, and that £10,000 fine is virtually irrelevant, but 20 days will definitely hurt.
Oh, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, I watched the race on Saturday as everyone else did. Was I counting how many times they used the whip? No. Was I offended by it? No. Why is it just the jockey gets punished?
Well, I suppose the jockey, to play devil's advocate, the jockey is the person in charge of that decision.
I know that. But like,
and it wouldn't just have been the jockey, one more, and everyone would have been punished.
I'm really puzzled about the whole situation, because when you're in a finish like they were on Saturday, you're not counting. You're concentrating.
You need to count.
You need to count, but it shouldn't be it shouldn't be on the back of your mind. Oh, how many times have I used the Pro Crush or the whip or whatever you want to call it? I just think I'm deflated, because we watched a great race on Saturday. And this is the outcome.
If you backed the second,
yeah,
you're liable to be annoyed, aren't you?
Possibly. But if they want these types of rules, then just chuck them out. Well,
they would have one more.
Have the bravery to do it on the day. Let's not wait till Tuesday. Do it on the day. I'm completely puzzled about the whole situation. Do the stewards not know the rules? Are they not?
They're not allowed. They're not allowed to do that now.
Well, I mean, I find it utterly bizarre, and I don't think, I genuinely don't think it's working. And if a steward can't count or doesn't know how to use the whip,
well, that's been taken away from them.
They should be stewarding then.
No. Well, listen, I have to put all angles to you.
I'm completely perplexed. We've watched a great race on Saturday.
I don't
yes,
disagree.
they have gone over the line, you know, but is that worth 20 days and a 10 grand fine? I mean, you know, when you think that, you know, 10 grand fine plus 20 days at this time of year, that's a hell of a lot. Hell of a lot.
Listen, we know that there are things that need to change. It's forever evolving, and there will be much debate about this in the press in the next 24 hours, as suspected there would be. But that's the situation. 20 days, £10,000 for Jim Crowley for the winning ride on Hukum in Saturday's King George.